In the United States, redlining is the practice of denying services, either directly or through selectively raising prices, to residents of certain areas based on the racial or ethnic makeups of those areas. While some of the most famous examples of redlining regard denying financial services such as banking or insurance, other services such as healthcare or even supermarkets can be denied to residents, or in the case of businesses like the aforementioned supermarkets, simply moved impractically far away from such residents to carry out redlining. The term redlining was coined in the late 1960s by John McKnight, a sociologist and community activist. It refers to the practice of marking a red line on a map to delineate the area where banks would not invest. Later the term was applied to discrimination against a particular group of people, usually by race or sex, irrespective of geography. During the heyday of redlining, the areas most frequently discriminated against were Black inner-city neighborhoods. For example, in Atlanta in the 1980s, a Pulitzer Prize-winning series of articles by investigative reporter Bill Denman showed that banks would often lend to lower-income whites, but not to middle or upper-income blacks. The use of blacklists is a related mechanism also used by redliners to keep track of groups, areas, and people that the discriminating party feels should be denied business or aid or other transactions. In the academic literature, redlining falls under the broader category of credit rationing. Reverse redlining occurs when a lender or insurer targets non-white consumers, not to deny them loans or insurance, but rather to charge them more than could be charged to a comparable white consumer. As a consequence of redlining, neighborhoods that local banks deemed unfit for investment were left underdeveloped or in disrepair. Attempts to improve these neighborhoods with even relatively small-scale business ventures were commonly obstructed by financial institutions that continued to label the underwriting as too risky or simply rejected them outright. When existing businesses collapsed, new ones were not allowed to replace them, often leaving entire blocks empty and crumbling. Consequently, African Americans in those neighborhoods were frequently limited in their access to banking, healthcare, retail merchandise, and even groceries. According to BlackPast.org contributor Brent Gasper, redlining paralyzed the housing market, lowered property values in certain areas, and encouraged landlord abandonment. As abandonment increased, the population density became lower. Abandoned buildings served as havens for drug dealing and other illegal activity, increasing social problems and reluctance of people to invest in these areas. The film Revolution *67 examines the practice of redlining that occurred in Newark, New Jersey in the 1960s.